Over the last couple of months, I completed an impossible task. I unlocked one of the hardest camos in Call of Duty history, the Abyss Camo for Warzone. And today I thought about making a video about it and give you my thoughts and impressions about grinding this camo. Because maybe you're also thinking about grinding this camo and you want to hear how difficult it is or how to do it. And yeah, I will try my best to give you some tips and tricks along the way, but where do I even start, right? I already unlocked the Nebula camo on Black Ops 6 in the Zombies mode, right? And that's for grinding 33 weapons in the Zombie mode to Mastery level, of course. And to be honest, I never really liked this camo. It looked kind of boring to me. It was a step down from the Dark Ether camo in Black Ops Cold War and even the camo that we had in Modern Warfare Zombies. I would even go as far and say that the Nebula camo is the worst Mastery camo in Black Ops 6. With Dark Matter being the second best and of course Abyss the best camo in the game. Because the difference in quality of those camos, in my opinion, is just so noticeable. The Abyss camo has like this dark black, white, bluish shimmer reactive thing going on, right? And the Nebula camo is more static and boring, in my opinion. Of course, everybody can think differently and have different preferences, right? I'm not saying that the Nebula camo looks bad, but I think the Abyss camo looks way better than this, and that's why I chose to grind this camo over the last months, and I'm finally done with it. But you might be wondering, how difficult is it to unlock it? And to answer this, I would say, well, technically it's more of a grind than a difficulty, although difficulty is also part of it. So it kind of depends how good you are in Warzone and in PvP type situations. If you exclusively play the zombie mode in Call of Duty, I think you're gonna have a hard time going for this camo. But if you can handle some 1v1 situations in Warzone and reliably get some kills when you need to, you will eventually be able to get this camo, but it will take a long time. Because to unlock the basic military camos for each weapon in Warzone, you will need 100 kills with each weapon. And then you can progress to the Gold, King's Ransom, Catalyst and Abyss camos. So that's already a huge grind. It's the majority of the grind actually. Getting 100 kills is a lot, because the very nature of Warzone entails that you loot stuff from the floor to get through the match, right? Yeah, eventually you can buy the loadout and get access to your required weapon that you're doing the camos on, but that's a lot of work. It is completely different to the multiplayer or zombies mode, where you can just spawn in with your preferred weapon that you want to grind. And it is because of this particular reason that the only viable way to actually grind for this camo is to play the Plunder mode in Warzone. And I know this might be a hot take, especially with the release of Battle Royale casual mode in Verdansk now, where you actually can fight bots along the way. I'm 100% confident that there's tons of videos out there on YouTube that all cover new fastest way to unlock Abyss by abusing the new casual mode for grinding this, right? I'm convinced, because on paper that sounds like a great idea. You just spawn in, kill some bots and have easy targets to grind weapon kills. However, after my experience over the last couple of months, I can still say that Plunder will be the better and faster way to do it than Battle Royale casual mode. Because if you play Plunder, you can spawn in with your desired loadout weapons. And when you die, you simply respawn again. There's no game over screen. Plunder games work on a timer or until one team reaches the goal of extracting enough money, right? And until then, you basically have infinite lives. Look, normally when you die, you respawn above the place where you just died, making you able to drop back into the action immediately. And that's a huge advantage in this mode. You just come back immediately. That was not the case with the last Battle Royale map on Urkistan. While yeah, you also kinda respawned in a general grid of the area, it was not immediately above the place where you died. Not always. To be fair, I also had the case on Verdansk now a few times where I respawned completely on a different side of the map, but that was like 1 in 20 times. And 19 times I immediately spawned back into the place where I just died and pushed the team again to get some kills. So basically what I'm saying is, you want to play solo Plunder for faster respawn times when you die, and seek out engagements and fight your way through it. If you win, perfect. If you die, you just come back and get those kills. And you can do this for the whole match, so 20 plus minutes. And another big advantage that the Plunder mode offers are hot drops, because a lot of people are actually grinding camos in the Plunder mode. And in comparison to other big maps like Urkestan, Al-Masra, Caldera, Verdansk has this one spot where everybody drops, or at least most of the time you will see people drop there. And that spot is Storage Town, and to a lesser extent maybe Superstore, but they are right next to each other, so let's say this whole area, right? And chances are that you will have someone in your game writing in a text chat, yo, everybody, drop Storage Town. And then, yeah, a lot of people will go there and seek engagements and fights. And this is a valid strategy. I would still go to the AFK players in the beginning if you want to get some easy picks from there, but if Storage Town is not far away from it, make your way to it. And you most likely will find other people already fighting there, and you just want to be part of it. Think about it as the shipment of the Battle Royale mode, where everybody is just fighting against each other, getting easy and fast kills. So it's definitely worth checking out Superstore or Storage Town along the match to see if there's people fighting, you know? It's an easy way to grind the 100 military kills for any weapon. Another huge tip would be to also use Battle Ready as a perk for your loadout, which basically allows you to redeploy with your utility box. Since armor plates are kinda rare in this new iteration of Warzone, having the utility box and being able to refill your armor before you even fight or engage enemies is a huge benefit. But there are two extra advantages that you can do in the Plunder mode that you have over the Battle Royale casual mode. And those two things are not really new strategies, people have been using those ever since the new Warzone released. But basically, the first thing is going for AFK players, and the second one is Camo Trades with other players. Let me explain. So regarding AFK players, you basically just want to wait until the end of the airplane until you drop, right? Because there's always a few people that will just not move their entire game. Or let's put it this way, some people using scripts for their characters to move in circles so that they grind Battle Pass XP, right? AFK, while they do other stuff, and they all will like drop at the very end of the airplane path, right? And what you want to do is also drop along them and land next to them to get some easy kills right off the game. But be aware that other people will do the exact same thing. They will also land at the end of the path and get those free kills, and maybe even kill you along the way. So it's your task to survive, to position yourself just close enough to the free kills to get them yourself, and to also be kind of aware about other surrounding players that want to grief you. So it's like a bit luck. There's no other way to put it. You might be able to get some free kills in the beginning and kill one or two attackers that are doing the same thing, but there's a sniper 200 meters away from you that snipes you after it, right? There's always another player doing the exact same thing. But in general, I would say it's worth dropping to the end to get those picks. And even if you died and the AFK players died initially, there's a chance that they will respawn again in this general area, making you be able to get those kills again and again. So just look out for odd behavior. If a character is running in circles, shooting their weapon in the sky every now and then, yeah, that's probably someone who's running a script for their character. And it's an easy pick for you. And not only can you do kill camo challenges with that, you can also do the special camo challenges on those AFK people, because for the special camo challenges, you might have to do something like getting kills while sliding with your weapon, and it's just simply easier to do that on an AFK player than against a real one, right? So that's also something to keep in mind. My tip would be to also go for melee weapon kills on those AFK players, because they are also kind of hard to do, because it's a free hit kill with any melee weapon in Warzone, and finding those AFK players is like finding a gold mine, because you can just pull out the knife and get an easy kill. And since you're playing Plunder, you can also just grind for cash and eventually buy UAVs at buy stations, so you can also see enemies around you. Hey, maybe there's some free AFK players that you didn't see before, and then you pop the UAV and see, hey, there's a red dot. I should get this free kill immediately, right? So it's always worth to buy UAVs in this game mode. And the second big advantage that I mentioned earlier is to camo trade with others. And I know opinions might split on this one, because on one hand you could argue, hey, that's basically cheating, that's like not really grinding the camo for real, you know? And to that I say yes and no. Like, I get where you're coming from, but at the same time, there are weapons that are completely trash, that are so far away from being the meta in the current season, right? That are just so bad to use. So you are actually saving so much time and sanity, I should say, if you just text someone, hey, do you want a camo trade? Like, you can just write that in a general match chat, and at least someone should reply or whisper you and say, hey, where do you want to meet? And then you go from there. You just say, hey, do you want to trade 1-for-1 kills, or maybe 5-for-5 kills? You know, and then you can just grind those kills with someone else and go over some really bad weapons or challenges for the special camo challenges, for example, that require sliding, of course, or equipment kills with shock charges. You will make your life so much easier if you find someone and do this. Of course, you can play this the normal way, the legit way, but it will just take way longer. I have to admit that I did some camo trades along the way, and I have to say it made my life so much easier. Simply land at a remote area, away from the action with someone else, and trade the kills with them. And like I said before, since the respawn times are so fast in this mode, because you basically spawn above the place you just died, you can just drop back immediately, get the kill, let the other kill you, and so on. You just kind of have to pay attention for third-party players grieving you, but that's basically part of the game. You just have to deal with it. Because what you're doing is kind of in a gray area. You're not really teaming with someone, but you're also not playing the objective either. But I would say, as long as you and the other person are playing solo in the quartz mode of Plunder, you're not hurting anyone's game, right? You're just doing your own thing, and at the end of it, you get a lot of kills, and the other one gets a lot of kills, and you both make progress on this unbelievably hard or grindy camo. Now let's talk about the Battle Royale casual mode in comparison, because this mode is kinda new. It dropped with Season 3 of Black Ops 6, and it basically has, I think, 120 bots and 30 real people in this mode. And yeah, I'm sure that a lot of people right now are trying it out to grind their Abyss Camo. And that's completely fine, because to some extent, this is actually a viable method. I know I praised Plunder over the last 10 minutes a lot, but this new mode also allows you to grind a lot of kills. However, there's two constraints that kinda make it worse for me in comparison to Plunder. The first constraint is that you don't have access to your loadout weapon, right? You have to buy the loadout first to get the weapon that you want to grind for. So the first part of the game is basically you dropping in, collecting cash, buying a loadout crate, getting access to the loadout weapon, right? So this whole process takes time. Time that you don't have to invest if you play the Plunder mode. And the other thing is that you might be unlucky and drop next to some actual players that are sweats, and those players will actually kill you. And then you go into the gulag, and then if you come out alive, you have to just repeat the whole process, invest even more time to grind for the preferred weapon, and then you might actually die again, which makes you even waste more time. So basically what I'm trying to say is the Plunder mode is the safe and easy way to grind those kills reliably, and with the new casual Battle Royale mode, you might be lucky and get just bots after bots after bots and make progress on your weapon, but you also might be unlucky and lose a lot of time, effort, and energy, resulting into zero progress. So one is a safe option, one is like a gamble, and I would always go for the safer option and make progress there. And furthermore, the two advantages that the Plunder mode offers you, that being the easy AFK player picks and the Camo Trade possibility, are not there in the casual Battle Royale mode, because there's way less AFK players and no one is doing Camo Trades, since you can't just simply respawn and trade them back to back to back. And with that being said, I think there's still room to play the new Battle Royale casual mode in the scenario where you just started grinding your Abyss Camo process, right? If you have no progress on any weapons, you might as well drop into this mode and pick up ground loot, because every ground loot that you will find will be a viable option for you at this point. Let's say you find the AK-74 and you have 0 kills with it, you just want to pick it up and maybe kill some bots with it. Maybe you get 10 or 20 kills along the way, and that's perfect. But you don't have to worry about buying your loadout first or to die by other players. You simply use whatever you find on the floor. If you die, you just queue up again for the next game, find another weapon on the floor that you can grind on, and repeat. But should you be at the point in your camo grind where you need weapons that are no longer on the ground floor in Battle Royale casual mode, then this is just not viable anymore. You might as well just boot up Plunder to get those specific weapon kills. Since the ground loot rotates with each season and there's no guarantee that you will actually find the weapon that you need, right? However, when looking at the Mastery camos, Gold, King's Ransom, Catalyst, and Abyss, I would say grinding the Battle Royale casual mode might be the better way to do it if you're having a hard time getting kills normally. So for example, let's say you are at the Gold camo step where you need to kill 5 people while being marked as the most wanted player. Yeah, you might actually have an easier time to do this in the Battle Royale casual mode. Of course, you will have to get the weapon first that you need to grind for, but if you encounter bots, it's basically a guaranteed free kill. I personally would still grind this in Plunder, but if you're having a hard time doing this, then playing Battle Royale casual mode will be just simply the easier option to do. The same thing for the other Mastery camo challenges like King's Ransom, where you need to get 3 kills without dying, or for the Catalyst one, where you need to kill enemies that are influenced by your tactical equipment. Yeah, this is just easier against bots. But it also works on Plunder if you find AFK players or someone to Camo Trade with. The choice is really up to you. If you want to play honest and legit, boot up the Battle Royale casual mode and do those challenges there. But be aware that you will always be faster to do this in a Plunder mode with someone else helping you, grinding those kills back to back as a trade. Of course, you can also switch it up. If you don't find anyone to Camo Trade with, simply boot up the Battle Royale casual mode and get those kills there. And maybe next time when you drop into Plunder, you find someone. And yeah. For the Abyss camo, where you need to get 5 kills without dying, this can easily be done in a casual Battle Royale mode against bots, but the choice is up to you, like I said. Another strategy that apparently works, but that I have not tried out myself, is to play Warzone Mobile, because if you play Warzone Mobile and link your Activision account to this app or game, then you can also grind the weapons there. So like I said, I have not tried it out myself because I didn't want to switch consoles with that. But apparently that works. And again, in the mobile version of Warzone, you're also encountering tons of bot players, allowing you to get easy kills as well. But since the introduction of the Battle Royale casual mode, I don't think it's necessary to play Warzone Mobile anymore, since it's just easier to do that here on the main game. I just wanted to put it out there. And with that being said, I just want to summarize some stats from my experience over the last couple of months, starting with the amount of time that I played to unlock Abyss Camo on 33 different weapons, and it took me over 5 days of playtime in the Plunder mode to unlock this. I also played a good amount of Resurgence with friends. However, I have to say that Resurgence did not help me grind camo challenges at all, because in this mode you kinda have to rely on meta loadouts, and you will not make significant camo progress in this mode unless, of course, you are a Rebirth Island demon. The 2 hardest weapons to grind Abyss for, in my experience, were the SVD Sniper and the Sarkov 7.62 Marksman Rifle. This thing is complete garbage and requires way too many bullets to kill someone. The fire rate is also way too slow and yeah, all in all, a bad weapon. The good thing is that you do not have to grind launchers anymore. Of course, they would also be up there as the weapons that are the hardest to get Abyss for. But since they added tons of DLC weapons along the last 3 seasons, it's possible to just leave out weapons that you don't feel confident enough to get kills with. So what I would do is just to focus on the other weapons, grind 1 or 2 more ARs or SMGs, and just leave out the weapons that you are having troubles with, right? Also, there seems to be a bug with melee weapons right now, or at least I hope that it's a bug and not an intended game design, right? But basically, DLC melee weapons require you to get 100 kills for all military camos instead of 50, like with the knife and baseball bat, the 2 standard melee weapons that dropped with the release of Black Ops 6. I'm not sure if they will ever reduce the amount of military kills required for the DLC melee weapons, but just be aware of that. If you, like me, want to grind the Abyss Camo on the katanas, it requires 100 kills instead of 50. And that of course sucks, so if you really want to be done with it fast, simply grind the knife and baseball bat and you will save 50 kills each in comparison to the other melee weapons. Apart from that, be sure to hydrate, drink enough water, maybe put on a podcast or some YouTube videos in the background while grinding, because it will be boring for the most part, getting 100 kills with each weapon. It's gonna take a long time. And like I said, it's the easiest way to do this in Plunder mode with someone else in the form of a Camo trade, but since that's not always a viable option, I would just grind Plunder anyways, maybe drop Superstore or Storage Town like I said, and seek engagements there. But yeah, that's basically it. That's how to get the Abyss Camo fast. So play both modes depending on what you need to do. If you need kills, play the Plunder mode. If you need to do certain tasks for special camo challenges, play the Battle Royale casual mode. But that's basically it. I'm so happy that I'm done with this grind. It's been a while and I think it was worth it. Looking at the camo now, I think it's better looking than any other mastery camo that we got over the last few years in Call of Duty. It certainly looks better than the BO6 camos and even the Pack-a-Punch camos on different zombie maps. So from now on, I actually will always disable Pack-a-Punch camos on the zombie maps just to be able to look at my new Abyss Camo. Yeah, that's about it, I guess. I hope this video was somewhat helpful and informative on your choice to grind this camo. Just be aware it will take forever to do it. But in the end, the choice is yours. And I hope, or I wish you all the best with it, should you go along with it. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. Let me know if you also have the Abyss Camo unlocked or not. I would be curious to know how many people have it. And yeah, thank you so much for watching and I see you next time. Take care.